Honorable Minister now.
Madam Speaker, at the very outset, I thank all the members who have wholeheartedly supported. Supporting is one thing, wholeheartedly supporting is another thing. So all the members who spoke on this bill, they wholeheartedly supported this bill with few suggestions that it should be made much more clear to make the law which is accessible for the common man, and to see that the stringent laws are taken out of the statute books which have become obsolete and redundant. Really, this is the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister, so we have taken up this initiative. Nearly 1,741 acts have been identified to repeal, out of which now already 2 bills have been already tabled and it has been passed. One is 35 acts and another one is 90. Today, this bill is 758 appropriate acts and 187 acts. The bill is ready. I am going to table it in the near future. So altogether, out of 1,741, nearly 1,700 acts which are obsolete and redundant, which are dysfunctional, that will be taken away from the statute within a short span of 1 year of this new government. Practically, earlier this exercise was last made in the year 2001 during the regime of Honorable Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Of course, about 10 times this repealing and amendment acts have been taken, and about 1,291 obsolete laws have been repealed earlier. Of course, our members have a few clarifications they have sought. I will not take much of the time, but a few clarification has been sought. My friend, Honorable P.P. Chowdhury, he was just suggesting me, why can't you have a amendment to Section 6A of the General Clauses Act? Practically, Appropriation Act, it is not applicable to the this General Clauses Act, Section 6A. The General Clauses 6, it's a general provision which deals the effect of the repeal of the Act in all the Acts. But as far as 6A is concerned, it is not applicable to the Appropriation Act, so that matter will not come into this purview. Of course, we have to follow the few legislative precedents. For that reason, right from 1901, we were following the procedures which has been laid down by the UK, and even certain repealing acts have been done during 1901 and 1903, where a saving clause has been provided to see that certain clauses that should be enforced in the future days also. So similarly, here also we made a saving clause to see that if anything, because it is an appropriation act, wherein, as rightly said by Premchandran, we are drawing money from the Consolidated Fund of India. So if there is something that needs to be looked into, for that a saving clause is also made in this. Especially Honorable Saugat Rai and Bhartrahari, they just brought to my notice why you are not taken of course, we have included this automatic repeal clause. From next year onwards, in all 2016 appropriate acts, automatic repeal clause will be there. Automatic repeal clause that 2 years in arrear will be there, because this year's 2013 Appropriation Act, it will be repealed in 2016 Appropriation Act. So 1 year for spending, and if there is any money is left out, it will be carried forward to the next year in the next appropriation bill. So automatically from 2016 onwards, continuously all the appropriate acts which have been which will come into force from 2013 onwards will be automatically, it will be cleared. It will be just like a sunset clause. Of course, we examined this, the Australian Legislation Act 2001, and that of the UK procedure which is followed, and it is accepted by us. It is not only accepted by us, even the Law Commission, Even the standing committee also examined in detail and said that the UK model is the right model for us to take into consideration, so we have taken it. As far as the Arbitration Legislation Act is concerned, it is a very comprehensive act. Of course, it contains about 302 sections and other annexures also. Of course, one section 89 that which provides for automatic repeal. It has about 12 subsections. It has to look into all the acts which has to be repealed in detail. So it is a very lengthy procedure. So our standing committee, as well as the law commission and our legal experts, they came to the conclusion that UK model is the right model. So we are opting the UK model that will be in force in future. Especially Bhartrhari was observing that why Article 252 should not be amended, so that even the states also should have this. But as far as Article 252 is concerned, a resolution has to come from the state government. 2 or more state government has to send a resolution to the central government. Then only the central government can look into the matter. But I hope that Honorable Bhartrhari's suggestion that will be complied by this, because after passing this act, the same procedure will be followed by the state governments also in the coming future. So I think it will be a model for the state government also. They can have a sunset clause in their appropriation acts in the coming days. Of course, up to 1950 to 1976, the 111 state appropriation acts which was passed by the parliament during the president rule were taken into consideration, because afterwards, after 42nd amendment, the power vested with the state government. So some other suggestions have been given by our friends, which will be certainly taken care of. Totally, the Law Commission in its 248 report, it has clearly said that the repealing of appropriation acts whose terms have ended will in no way cause any negative impact on actions that will validly taken under these acts. They further observed that the existence of the dead law with the living law creates confusion even in understanding. So it is a matter of simplification of law, and it should be made very clear that confusion should not be there with the living laws, wherein certain laws which are really obsolete. And finally, Madam Speaker, the statutes, unlike human beings, do not die with their natural death, with the possible exception of statute whose life is predetermined by the legislature at the time of their enactment. So this is a step where we are putting the statute we are putting a natural death to the acts which will become dysfunctional. So I pray that I request the House, as already honourable members have wholeheartedly supported this bill, I commend that the bill will be passed.
Yes.